Hey guys, welcome back to another video this week. I believe we're on week number 4 now. We're really getting into it. We got completely destroyed last week. So it's getting real now, you know what I mean? Which is a good thing, honestly, in my opinion, because number one, I said I wasn't gonna bullshit you guys, so I didn't want a story where I just like start trading and boom, right away, like I'm just like making money. Like no, like I think we're probably 1 win, 7 losses, or 1 win, 8 losses. I'll have to double check. It's something ridiculous. 10% strike rate. I mean, you can literally just do the exact opposite of what I've been doing and you crush it. So, yeah. But it's a good thing because I'm learning a lot about, his strategy, Tom's strategy, the setups and everything like that. And one thing I found very valuable this week, and I think that is really going to help turn this kind of situation around, is creating a plan. So last week, as I was trading, I realized that I was trading these quote-unquote setups or opportunities, and a lot of times, I had it written down, but I didn't have like a concrete okay, this is my trading plan, this is how I'm going to take the setup. So I really didn't have any consistency with my setups, you know what I mean? Like, I would take a trade, and if you look back at my journal, all the trades kind of look a bit different. I mean, they're technically kind of within the guidelines of how Tom would take his trades based around levels, but there was no real consistency in my trading. And this week, in the middle of the week, I realized man, I really need to come up with a trading plan, something that is going to be like, okay, if A happens, then I do B. If B happens, then I do C. And if C happens, then I do D. So that way everything is like consistent. Everything is the same. And I'm taking the same trades across the board. And once I start getting consistency in the type of trades that I take, I can then go back and evaluate, okay, as long as I'm following my plan, is it my plan that's shit? Or am I just not following the plan? You know what I mean? And I think that's a very good way to evaluate what I'm doing and help increase, I guess, the consistency of what I'm doing. So what I did this week, and I think will be my major step forward, is I actually created a plan in the middle of the week once I realized I was just trading kind of at random, hip firing, if you will. And I created a plan and I sent it over to Tom to see what he thought about it. And I got the thumbs up from Tom. He said that was good stuff. He said he thinks that plan will help get me on the right track and should improve my trading. So, once I kind of got the thumbs up from Tom, I was like, okay, so I typed it all up. And I'm going to show you guys kind of how I did my plan. So maybe if it can help one of you guys, that'd be great. But I typed it all up and I got it written down, and now it's just like, okay, I'm just only going to take trades that follow my plan to the letter specifically. And even after I typed up the plan, I had 2 trades, or 2 potential setups. They were setting up at the same time, they were correlated trades. One of them followed my plan exactly. The other one, not exactly. And obviously I took the other one, which ended up losing. I didn't lose a lot on it, and I'll show you guys it, but I did end up losing. And the one that would have followed my plan to the letter ended up turning into a huge winner. So there you go. But yeah, so I have I have my plan written down. It's got the thumbs up from Tom. He actually said if I take 5 trades to reach back out to him for a second one-on-one session after I take 5 trades following my plan. So I'm not going to count the trade that I just completely botched yet again. I'm going to start this week, and I'm going to follow my plan to the letter. And in order to encourage myself to follow the plan to the letter, I'm thinking about doing something where every time I take a trade that follows my plan, win or loss regardless, I'll award myself, I don't know, $20. And then if I take a trade that's outside of my plan, I take away $20. So at the end of the week, depending on how many trades that I took that followed my plan versus didn't take my plan, that's the amount of money I could spend on a dinner this weekend or something like that. I was also thinking about if I just completely botch the week, I'm not allowed to go out and have fun this weekend. I don't know, something like that. But I kind of like the $20 thing because it'll reward myself with a nice meal for doing essentially what I think is the right thing. So, yeah, my plan is basically just like a flow chart. And what I did was I actually wrote it down first. I don't know if you guys can kind of see this. Let me show you a little bit like that. But yeah, so I basically just kind of wrote it down, and it's just like a yes or no flow chart. So you'll have like kind of like one thing here, and it'll be like, okay, for example, this one says, is there a daily bias, right? It'll be like a circle here, and it's like a yes or a no, right? So if it has yes, then you go to the next one, right? If it has no, it says don't trade. So it's just a series of yes or no questions that you just follow, and if you make it to the end of that flow chart and it assesses everything, you basically get to take the trade. And what I found is that if everything follows these yes or no criteria, all the trades are going to follow a certain criteria. So it should bring some consistency out. Again, I'm going to show you like an example of my plan. I'm not going to have the full thing on there because I don't want to just, if it does turn out to be something awesome, I don't want to just give away my entire edge for free. But like, yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm doing, so maybe it can help you guys create your own plan in your own trading. Again, like I said, I think we took 3 trades this week, lost 3. The Aussie dollar trade, which was in profit, and I said I would add to, ended up taking a loss on that. So, just kind of a shitty week, but, it's all good. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn, here to get better, and here to grow. So let's get into it. All right, so I quickly wanted to just show you guys my flow chart I made as a plan that I will be using. Just an example, I showed you guys part of it. I cut some of it off, obviously, but this should just give you like an idea of what I kind of did. So like you can see, it starts here. Is there a daily bias? No. Okay. Is the level a grade 3 level that can be seen on a higher time frame? And it just kind of goes through this yes or no answer sheet. So you just kind of go yes or no, right? And you follow the thing from there. Does it have at least 3 touches with a factor of confluence? If it's no, then you pass on the trade. If it's yes, then you get to go over here where this would have originally taken you. And you just follow along, and there's a bunch of things. And if it ever says no, you get to this thing where it says pass on the trade. So it just really helps me to be a lot more selective, a lot more picky with what I'm doing based on, the best possible setups. I took into account a lot of things like reasons not to trade, again, going back to that. So I incorporated a lot of reasons not to trade so that way I'm not like making these decisions on the fly, or I'm looking at it as a trade's forming. I can kind of take a look in advance and look and go through my flow chart and see, okay, are there any reasons not to trade per my rules, anything that I thought of. It takes account into stop loss placement, risk management, everything. So that way I don't have to think when the trade actually comes around, I just execute. And this should also help me execute consistently as well. So I made one of these flow charts for basically every single setup that I do have in the that I've been taught that I will be trading. So I think that this will help increase consistency, and it will help turn things around. We'll see how it goes. Again, I have 5 trades. After the 5 trades following these kind of like flow chart style analysis, I'll go back to Tom, and then I can further assess, okay, is it my flow chart, is it the trading, or do I need to modify my plan, or, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so I just wanted to go over my trades like usual. I figured we'd start off on the Aussie dollar since that's pretty much where we left off. And we left off, it was up here, and I was like hoping it would get to this target here, and I said I would, if it came back around to this level here, I would add more, move my stop up. So my original position was here. I did add more, put my stop here. As you can see, it came in, reacted, gave that little wick there, and then just dumped straight through. So I ended up taking a loss on that, unfortunately. Pretty unfortunate since it was pretty close to target, but what are you going to do? I still think that trade was a fairly solid trade. Per my new rules now, wouldn't have quite met the exact criteria, but I still think it was a fairly solid trade for the information I had at the time. The next trade I was looking at was I had a euro yen trade, And this is the trade that really made me realize I need a plan. And it's because I was looking at this trade, and well, first of all, if we look at the weekly time frame, it was right here. We had this, it was this week here that kind of broke this low and closed back above it. So, you have some trap traders there trying to short beneath that low. It's back up above. So I figured it was going to rip up and it was going to come right up and take this high. So I had a bias to go long. So then I came down on the hourly time frame and I was looking for a place to get long. And we were actually right about here. And I wanted to get long, and I didn't have this level marked out on a chart, but I was just like, well, if it gets above there, we can try and get long that level and see how it goes, and try to really use that level to get up to here. But after taking the trade, I just realized that this is like a super weak level. I mean, it's really only got like the one touch here and one little baby touch here, not a big reaction. And if you zoom out, it's kind of chopped through back here. So it really wasn't a strong level at all. And so once I kind of saw that and it dumped straight through, it did come up, but I ended up just closing the trade right here because I was like, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is just really a weak level. It's just not that great. So I ended up taking a small loss here, and you see it did kind of come up, but it would have ended up taking me out anyways. I probably would have been able to move the stop up, but it's neither here nor there. It was weak, and I realized at that point, like, my trades were a bit inconsistent, and I needed a plan. So from there, I formulated a plan. And then from there, I took this silver trade. I was trying to, if you can believe it now, look at it now. But back here, there was a big daily level. It was this daily swing point here. And I thought if we can get a false break of that, I can sell it and sell a return back to here. As you can see, so we got the false break on the hourly here, but it came down initially and then closed back up through here. So once it closed back through here, I just closed it. So I took a small loss on that, nothing major, not a full loss by any means, but it just continued straight up from there. So the management kind of kicked in and saved me there. And then we had one more trade in the pound yen, and this is the trade where I said I took a trade even after formulating the plan. I took a trade that wasn't quite in my plan, and there was another one setting up at the same time. And so this and the S&P were setting up at the exact same time. And let me show you the setup, because it was really actually a nice setup on both pairs, or on both instruments, but the one had the proper setup. So you have this false break of this daily level here as seen by this candle, right? And it's also a pin bar. So I was like, oh, that's pretty good. You have a pin bar and you have what Tom calls an SFP in the same candle. So I was looking for it to trade back up into here, similar to that Euro Yen idea. But what happened was, when it came, it was actually right here, and I was just looking. And one of my rules is that I needed to trade a break and retest of a level that I already had previously marked out. And the reason for that is because I tend to get excited when I see a quote unquote nice setup, and I FOMO into trades. But if it's a level that I had previously marked out, it's obviously a level I marked out when the markets were quiet and I deemed important. Now, if I'm just like seeing that and all of a sudden I'm just trying to get involved in any old level, I'm taking trades at less than optimal levels, not the strongest levels. So I really should have waited. I didn't have this level marked out, but I just saw this level here, and I took the trade and I took it long, and it moved up initially, and I was able to, once this candle came in, I was able to move my stop up to here, and then it just came back on me. So I didn't take like a big loss on it by any means, but still, I mean, it's a trade that I shouldn't have been in. And if you look at the S&P trade, it's the same exact setup, and it was happening at the same exact time. You see you have this candle here, which is the false break of this low, and it also puts in a pin bar, right? And it was targeting this high, and it was setting up at the exact same time. But the difference was I actually had this level marked out beforehand. But when it was coming down, pound yen was was testing, as this was just not like just missed it. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get this S&P trade, so I'll just take the pound yen, whatever. And that was actually the wrong thing to do, obviously, because it didn't quite meet my rules. But as you can see, it hit the level I had marked out beforehand and shot straight to target and would have been a beautiful winner. Unfortunately, we botched that. So, that's how these things go. But like I said, a relentless following of the rules this week, and with some prizes and goodies, hopefully, if I follow everything correctly. We'll see how it goes. Let me just show you guys a quick shot of the equity curve so we can keep everybody updated. All right, so like I said, quite the impressive equity curve we have going on. Consistent, very consistent here. We just need to flip that around, turn that upside down, and we'll have a nice curve. But like I said, we're not down huge. We're only down like 3%, mostly because I've been able to cut most of my trades for small losses, even though we are 1 win and 9 losses now, if you can believe that. Bravo, bravo. I bet none of you guys have started off quite as shitty as me, but we're going to turn this thing around. I promise you. Just stick with me. And if we don't, well, you could just watch me drown on camera, but it's all good. I'm here for it all. So yeah, let's keep it going. All right, so I just wanted to say thanks again for following. Please like, subscribe, comment, interact with me. Say what's up if you want. I would really appreciate it. I love it. Hopefully this journey gets a little bit better. We're going to try to turn this thing around. Let's see if we can't make some money this week, yeah? Happy trading, good luck to all, and I'll see you all next week.